obviously, your first responsibility as filmmakers is to make a great film, and we take that for granted. Can you talk a little about your responsibility to the books, to the source material, to the fan base of the books, and to what extent you try to be faithful to that or to honor that?
You know, it's a good question because I've done a lot of movies. I've produced a lot of movies that were based on books, from The Natural to My Dog Skip to even The Notebook. And we have made big changes in all of those in order to adapt them to film. And I think that it's clear with the Chronicles of Narnia that you just can't tamper with them that way. They're too important to too many people. They are in many ways written almost filmically. And I think that the themes and just the world of Narnia, you tamper with it, you make changes at your own risk. And I think that Lion the Witch, we were very faithful, I think, to the book. So faithful, in fact, that we made up scenes. For instance, the scene in the frozen river. People would say, "Oh, I'm so glad you kept that scene in the book," because it's not in the book. And yet, and what we've done, the big change we've done in Prince Caspian is the structure, because if you remember in the book, the story of Caspian is told in flashback by Trumpkin to the four Pevensey kids, and we've rearranged that. So at one point we have 3 parallel stories that take us through to the first 45 minutes. Otherwise it would just be all. That's right. Peter thought no. He'd like that. Hey.
You guys both survived this movie, and you guys are ready to jump into another one. Just coming out, there's like a lot of work to do this, and you got to do another one.
Well, you know, we're still in the middle of finishing Prince Caspian. It's not going to be done until sometime next weekend, so I'm a little exhausted. And right now we have another producer, a line producer, and Michael Hampton, the director of Voice of Dawn Treader. They're in New Zealand scouting locations as we speak. So at some point I have to transition myself into that one. Ben has, I don't know how much break they have, because he finished Prince Caspian with another movie, and they do another one before Dawn.
Really?
I like to be busy. I'm bad standing still.
So I was talking about Narnia and the season. I remember talking about them with the June and Brooklyn and training what was like to do those physical things.
A lot more difficult for me than it was for him, because he's a sort of robot athlete. You know, I went to the gym with him a couple of times and I was literally vomiting by the end of it. So I'm just vaguely trying to keep up, but then, you know, the fact that I'm older than him is an excuse, doesn't really wash with it. But, I mean, I basically have to start from scratch, particularly with the horse life. But, you know, the first couple of weeks, I was doing about 6 hours a day, but I was doing it in a landscape. There was a small town on the South Island of New Zealand called Paradise, and then it was covered by about the surrounding area, really horseback, mountains, sunset, which is just, it was literally just me, these guys on horses in a field. It felt like cowboys. So it was a great place to kind of do the training, and then by the end of it, I was, you know, throwing through trees, going down ramps, flying torches, you know, riding through rivers. I got to ride through a river. I mean, you went literally the whole swimming up to here and water. It was really exhilarating and amazing. And then the sword fighting was the same. I just really took to it. I loved it. I loved every second of it. And I can't wait to get into it. And the next one, I was kind of upset when I realised, when I sort of recalled to myself after the war credits, and shit, I was like, how many horses can you fit? One, I hope.
Right. Nope, none at all.
Ben, can you talk about like fitting in with the cast? I mean, the kids had done the first film, and there was probably a whole family and bonding there. What was it like meeting them and getting to work with them? And did you have to go through any hazing with them, or have to earn their trust in any way?
The hazing was relentless. It never stopped. Actually, I remember meeting Georgie. I was going to say that, but when I met Georgie, she kind of went up to me and she was like, "Hello. Bye," and then just ran off. And then she came back to me and she went, "I'm really sorry." And I went, "What?" She said, "I didn't know who you were or what you were doing." And she went, and then Andrew told me you were playing Prince Caspian. So hi. And she like started again. You know, but you know, it was very, very sweet. But I think they were all very prepared. for somebody else to come and join his family that things built up. I mean, I was very cynical about it. I've said it before. I was very cynical about the whole situation. I'd watched like the extras on the first DVD, and they were all sitting there in their interviews saying, "Oh, we're like a family, and Andrew's like the dad, and we're like the big brother," and there's me like vomiting in a bucket, thinking, you know, this can't be real. And then you get there, and when I walked into the production office from New Zealand, Kendra and Will were playing tennis, table tennis with each other, and Georgie was sitting on Anna's knee, and you know, and it was Andrew was this kind of real patriarch figure, and it's you know, it's just a very loving family environment to come into, and it was of course very welcoming, you know, but that's the only way you can make a film, I think.
You also said that the AD actually told the crew not to look you in the eye right away. So
yeah, KC, the first AD, when I walked onto the set, he said, Ben Barnes, you'll be playing Caspian, don't stand within 2 feet of him, and do not look him directly in the eye, thank you. And even for about a week, there were still crew members who were kind of looking at me and aware, and good joke. I'm the one who's terrified here.
Ben, talk about carrying sort of the weight. You're the title character, and you're coming into this franchise and playing the title character of the film, and even coming to something like this and walking out in front of a room full of a couple of thousand people who are, you know, cheering for you without, you know, seeing
knowing who I am,
knowing who you are.
Well, they're in the same boat that I am. I don't really know, you know, who I am or what I'm doing here at this point. I mean, Mark, I was actually the first one to show me the sort of the poster, and I kind of looked at it in awe, and what did I say to you? I said it's that sensible or something. It's the best movie, and then kind of got more concentrated as we've gone along, and actually I've got sort of more ambivalent about it as we've gone along, because I've been thinking about the character of Caspian and whether this kind of very heroic, you know, stance kind of portrays that story, but then I think it's important, you know, the book is called Caspian. It's an important thing for people to have something to identify with, to kind of latch on to. You know, I think people need something to kind of invest in emotionally during the kind of story. I think that's a really important thing, certainly from my point of view, in terms of what my job is to make people really be on Caspian's side, you know, and really care about the decisions that he makes throughout the course of the story. So I feel sort of from a sort of very personal point of view, that's kind of the most important part of it for me. But this is really exciting now, because as I said, I haven't seen it yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I saw Andrew actually a couple of days ago to show me a couple of bits on film, and the actual film. I said no. I said I want to wait and see it all together. I want to be blown away as any other Narnia fan. You know, apart from my bits, of course, I'll be cringing and hiding my face. But yeah,
We've taken most of them.
yes, well, exactly.
Go back to New Zealand, next movie.
Well, you know, we don't know. We're still counting. 2/3 of the movie we're going to shoot in Rosarito, Mexico, because they have a huge water tank there, which is where they shot Titanic and Master and Commander. So we'll shoot. I know we're going to shoot 2/3 there, but we'll start production. It could be back in New Zealand, it could be in Argentina, it could be in other places.
How are we going to do it with the locations? I am from Mexico, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's very desertic, isn't it? Did you choose the location for the environment, or?
No, but really for the tank. And then we're looking at locations all around Mexico to see which other ones we can shoot. But the tank is unlike any in the world. You know, they built it for Titanic.
Yes.
And yeah. What happens is that Fox built it for Titanic, and then they were holding it for Jim Cameron was maybe going to do another movie. Yeah. You can say that. I know.
The shot that you see, I haven't said this before, I didn't know that I was allowed. The shot in the trailer where I say I am Caspian. I never say that.
You did know he does say I.
No, I do say it. I do say
but not in that.
Not in that context.
That context, right?
I was one of the passport office in London, and asked me to come in for an audition. I initially taped one scene, took 5 minutes in in London. I sent it to Mark, and actually I'd come across Mark before auditioning for another movie a couple of years earlier, or a year earlier. So Mark really helped me a little bit. And then I did
just before we started shooting, and Andrew was in New Zealand. I was in Los Angeles, so Andrew flew in. He got in the night before. Ben was on the West End doing his screenplay. He literally finished Saturday night, first thing Sunday. He got on a plane, arrived Sunday afternoon. We auditioned him, and then he got on a plane first thing Monday, straight away, and then got back to London. Oh, that's right, went back and got back in the afternoon and made it to the Monday night performance. And so the National Theater, who probably aren't big fans of ours right now, didn't even know that he was going. Yeah, now I told everybody. Yeah, exactly.
So do you anticipate accelerating the pace for with the movies? A la Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, every year and a half?
No, I don't think so. I think it's too hard. It's not a continuation. Narnia is completely different in each movie, and characters come and go. We didn't have Caspian and Lion the Witch, and he's obviously important in the Lord and Prince Caspian, and really the protagonist, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and then we see him in the next one, the Silver Chair, briefly as an old man. So I'm not quite sure how that goes. That's right, exactly. So I'm not quite sure.
But also, I think that there's ones like obviously like Lord of the Rings, you can film it as one huge film and split it up. And Harry Potter, you have the sets and the same characters. As Mark was saying, Michael Apted was saying, he wants Dawn Treader because it roams through these different new lands we haven't seen. If you just go back and shoot it all in South Island, New Zealand, it's going to look the same as the others, and you need different types of environments.
Well, look at already
we did move, and so it takes much more preparation.
We did the first one mostly in New Zealand, we did the second one mostly in the Czech Republic, and we're going to do the third one mostly in London. So it's whole different units, and I'm not sure. I think it's a 4-year distance between the films is actually pretty good for the audience. I don't think they lose sight of the film, and yet they don't feel as though they're somehow being worked. Here's another one, and here's another one.
Ben, your character starts off kind of in a prosaic universe, not really knowing what kind of world he inhabits, and then he slowly comes to believe that he's in a much more magical place than he thought. He comes to learn the truth about Aslan, to believe in Aslan. Can you talk at all about and obviously for C.S. Lewis, this connected with his beliefs as a Christian. Can you talk at all about the theme of faith in the story in connection with your character, in connection with the other characters? And if you're comfortable, talk at all about your own faith or beliefs.
I think you're right. I think the sort of starting point for the story is that the magic has gone out of the land, and that is the reason that it's necessarily a much darker and more terrifying place than the land of the first movie. I think it's not. A lot of people are kind of a little cynical thinking, well, they're making a film English, it's got to be darker and have more action on it, and see it. But I think actually it's simply the way the book is written. The magic has been sucked from the land, it's been sucked dry. I think also the historical context is something that's important as well. I was talking to Sergei, who plays Miraz. He very much saw Miraz as a kind of Hitlerian figure. It's a dictatorship. And I think it's a very human dictatorship. The other point is that the villain of the story is not a magic witch. The real human who's fueled by greed and lust for power and all these very kind of human emotions, which I think is a very scary thing. And I think that is the thing about the book for me that is really engrossing. I don't think for an 8-year-old, if you're reading these books, you necessarily see all the analogies, the sort of the Christian faith analogies certainly certainly the subtext is there if you choose to see it about having faith in something that is greater than yourself. Obviously, that is why the characters are not all perfect. Peter and Caspian do argue. You know, there is debate in these films, which is I think what kind of fuels the tension of the films. And I think that kind of feeling of having faith in something that's bigger than yourself, regardless of what you see that as being, is an important theme. But as I say, as the specifics of it, I don't think if you're 8 years old, they're going to be something that are kind of in the forefront of these stories, which are, I think escapism is a very important thing in our world.
Okay, thank you all very, very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
President Ford.